Krishna Krishna. Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Ram.
Krishna.
Hare
Advaita
Krishna
Hare
Hare Krishna Ram 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 Ram
Jai Shri
Ram.
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody would like to sing our prayer for this week? Shri Krishna Chandrashtakam. Not yet. Okay. All right, then I will continue and then we'll read the translations. Shri Krishna Chandrashtakam by Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj. अम्बुदाञ्जनेन्द्रनीलनिन्दिकान्तिदम्बर कुङ्कुमोद्यदर्कविद्युदंशु दिव्यदम्बर श्रीमदङ्गचर्चितेन्दुपीतनाक्तचन्दन स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे सबल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन गण्डतण्डवातिपण्डितान्दजेशकुण्डलश् चन्द्रपद्मषण्डगर्वखण्डनस्य मण्डल पल्लवीषुवर्धितात्मगूढभावबन्धना स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन नित्यनव्यरूपकेलि नित्यनव्यरूपवेशहर्दकेलिचेष्टित केलिनर्मसार्मदायि मित्रवृन्दवेष्टित स्वीयकेलिकाननांशु निर्जितेन्द्रनन्दन स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन प्रेम हेम मण्डितात्मबन्धुताभिनन्दिता क्षौणिलग्नबाललोक पालपालिवन्दित नित्यकालसृष्टविप्रगौरवालिवन्दना स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन लीलयेन्द्रकालीयोष्णकंसघातकस् तत्तदात्मकेलिवृष्टिपुष्टभक्तचातक वीर्यशीललीलयात्मघोषवासिनन्दना स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन कुञ्जरासकेलिसीधुराधिकादितोषणस्तत्तदात्मकेलिनर्म तत्तदालिपोषण प्रेमशीलकेलिकीर्तिविश्वचित्तनन्दना स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन रासकेलिदर्शितात्मशुद्धभक्तिसत्पथ स्वीयचित्ररूपवेशमन्मथालिमन्मथ गोपिकासुनेत्रकोणभाववृन्दगन्दन स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन पुष्पचायिराधिकाभिमर्शलब्धितर्षित प्रेमवाम्य राम्य राधि कास्य दृष्टिहर्षित राधिकोरसीहलेप एष हरिचन्दना स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन अष्टकेन यस्त्वनेन राधिका सुवल्लभं संस्तवीति दर्शनेऽपि सिन्धुजादिदुर्लभं तं युनक्ति तुष्टचित्त एष घोषकानने राधिकाङ्गसङ्ग नन्दितात्मपादसेवने स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन स्वाङ्घ्रिदास्य दोस्तु मे स पल्लवेन्द्रनन्दन हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation?
I can read, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Shri Mataji, yes.
His abundantly beautiful complexion belittles the splendor of combined rain clouds, black eye, cosmetics, and sapphires. His garments appear effulgent like a rising sun, tinted like kumkum, vermilion powder, enhanced by shining bolts of lightning. His perfectly formed limbs are anointed with sandalwood paste mixed with camphor and saffron. May Sri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He wears shark-shaped earrings that dance very expertly upon his cheeks. The beauty of the orb of his face destroys the pride of the multitude of moons and lotus flowers. He causes the knot of his own secret, ecstatic love moods to increasingly tighten among the gopis. May Sri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He is eternally engaged in designing ever fresh variations of his youthful form, mode of dress, and loving pastimes. He is surrounded by the assembly of his cowherd boyfriends who excel in giving him delight by their playful joking words. Even a single brilliant ray of splendor from his personal pleasure forest defeats the heavenly Nandan gardens of Lord Indra. May Sri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He is delighted by the friendship of his devotees, whose consciousness is decorated with golden ornaments of pure love for him. He is praised by great demigods who protect various planets in the universe and offer obeisances to him by touching their foreheads to the ground. He honors the Brahmanas with great reverence at specific times of the day. May Sri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He easily removed the pride of Indra as well as the violent anger of Kaliya, and he killed the demons like Kamsa and Vatasura. With the rainfall of these variegated pastimes, he nourishes the Chataka birds who are his devotees. By performing his pastimes of heroic nature, he delights the residents of his own cowherd community. May Shri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He satisfied Sri Radhika and the other gopis with the nectar of the sportive ras dance performed in the groves of Vrindavan. During the various intrigues of those amorous pastimes, he devises many playful jokes to sustain the assembly of gopis. He thus delights the minds of all people in the universe by the glory of his loving pastimes. May Shri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. By revealing his pastimes of festive ras dance, he also shows the eternal path of his pure devotional service. By his amazing beauty and fascinating mode of dress, he charms the minds of a vast multitude of cupids. Through the outer corners of his eyes, he casts sidelong glances aimed at the gopis that give hints of a host of affectionate ecstatic moods. May Shri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. He becomes excited with desire by suddenly touching Sri Radhika while she is busy picking flowers. Then he becomes jubilant when he sees her charming face decorated with the contrariness of pure love. Verily, he is a sandalwood paste that decorates Radhika's breasts. May Shri Krishna, the son of the king of the cowherd men, grant me the service of his own lotus feet. It is very difficult for Lakshmi Devi and other exalted gods and goddesses to attain even a glimpse of Shri Krishna, who is very dear to Shri Radhika. But if someone glorifies him by reciting these 8 verses with full attention, then he who is delighted by the intimate of association with Radhika's limbs will become pleased with that person and engage them in the service of his own lotus feet within the covered forest of Golok Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shri Mataji. Shri Krishna Chandrashtakam ki jai. Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. And Shri Shuka and Shari parrots ki jai. Like we said here, it is very difficult even for Lakshmi Devi and other exalted gods to attain glimpse of Shri Krishna here because of the mercy of pure devotees like these parrots. They have admission into the nectarian pastimes of Vrindavan, and because of their vision and their mercy, we are able to see this on the theater-like eyelids of our eyes. So Thank you so much to them for giving us entrance into the holy Vrindavan Dham. Okay, let's continue Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, chapter 36, which happens to be the last chapter of this volume 1 that we started almost 8 months ago. So we're currently with Srila Prabhupada in Africa. Prabhupada is preaching and establishing foothold of Krishna consciousness in every town and village as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted and as his Guru Maharaj ordered him to do. So Prabhupada is organizing kirtans, and he is, because of his patience, tolerance, and compassion, he is able to operate at a speed faster than the speed of light. Like his disciples are saying, Prabhupada is going so fast and vast, right? So he's traveling far and wide, and he's operating at a speed which nobody else has done in the history of mankind, and nobody else will be able to do in the history of mankind. So, okay, so let's continue. And again, all of this is because of blessings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna and Radha combined, and because of mercy of Nityananda Prabhu as the Adi Guru, as Sri Balaram. So Prabhupada is a representation of the Adi Guru energy of Lord Nityananda. Okay, so we'll continue from here. Srila Prabhupada can be appreciated not only generally as the empowered representative of God, but specifically as the manifestation of Lord Nityananda. According to Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, Lord Krishna manifests himself to the souls of ordinary men through Lord Nityananda. The individual soul requires the help of God to realize God. This help comes by the causeless mercy of Lord Nityananda, who is therefore known as the original Guru. Although Lord Nityananda is the direct expansion of Lord Chaitanya, his pastime is to serve Lord Chaitanya by redeeming the fallen souls. Lord Nityananda and his representative, the spiritual master, do not alter the scriptures or the teachings of Lord Krishna, but make them more accessible and understandable. Lord Chaitanya commissioned Lord Nityananda to preach the holy name at everyone's door, and Lord Nityananda's exemplary mood of vigorous, compassionate preaching was also the mood of Srila Prabhupada. As Srila Prabhupada imparted this mood to his disciples, they in turn went out into the streets of cities around the world to distribute to everyone the mercy of the holy name of God. Lord Nityananda is especially renowned for saving two drunkard brothers, Jagai and Madhai, even though they had assaulted him when he had attempted to bless them with the holy name. In Lord Nityananda's time, Prabhupada on several occasions explained there were only one Jagai and Madhai, but now the whole world is filled with Jagais and Madhais. And Prabhupada was recruiting his disciples from these Jagais and Madhais. Srila Prabhupada fully displayed Lord Nityananda's compassion in taking all risks and freely giving the holy name. Even Lord Nityananda himself, during his appearance in India, did not approach as many fallen souls as Srila Prabhupada. Nor did he approach souls in such degraded conditions of life or in so many rejected parts of the world, but he has done so now through his representative, Srila Prabhupada. As the recipient of the combined mercy of Gaura Nitai, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, Srila Prabhupada blessed the world with love of God. Srila Prabhupada, however, never described himself as a great empowered personality, either in public or among his disciples, but he stressed that he was in disciplic succession, carrying the authorized knowledge, and he encouraged his disciples to take the same position. We want to create many pure devotees so that other people will benefit by their association. In this way, the number of pure devotees increases. Prabhupada knew well that propagating Krishna consciousness was not a professional business. Although in India many professionals spoke or wrote on Srimad Bhagavatam to earn their livelihood, they could not convert materialistic people to devotional service. Only a pure devotee could change the materialistic heart. Prabhupada did not even conclude that he was a pure devotee, only that he was the servant of a pure devotee. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, his Guru Maharaj. Prabhupada prayed that before he left the world, he could create a living family of pure devotees to spread the parampara teachings of Krishna consciousness and protect them from being changed or obscured. He emphasized that all the preachers of the Krishna consciousness movement could become pure devotees by following the regulative principles, avoiding sinful life, and regularly chanting Hare Krishna. Only in this way, he said, could the devotees have an effect on others. October 18, 1971. Having spent a busy 5 weeks in Africa, Prabhupada was ready to travel on to India. His plan was to visit Bombay, Calcutta, and Delhi. He had made a strong beginning for ISKCON in India, with the land in Mayapur and centers in Bombay, Calcutta, and New Delhi, and he had groups of disciples strategically located in other parts of India. Indians were recognizing ISKCON and appreciating its festivals, kirtans, and prasadam. Life members were offering service and being benefited. They were receiving and reading ISKCON publications, and they were helping support the ISKCON centers. And this was only a start. To get a foothold anywhere, whether in India, Africa, America, or Russia, was certainly a great accomplishment. But a foothold was not enough. Although much had been done to establish the mission of Lord Chaitanya, much more remained to be done. Preaching Krishna consciousness was not a job that at some point would be completed. Of course, in one sense, it was already complete and perfect. Prabhupada's preaching had always been successful, even when he had struggled alone in India to make his message heard through Back to Godhead magazine, the League of Devotees, and his translations of Srimad Bhagavatam. He had always remained fixed in the transcendental order of his spiritual master and Krishna. Therefore, he had been successful. The Krishna consciousness movement was already complete, and now, by the will of its author, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this completeness was becoming manifest. But the work, the ecstasy, the samadhi of selflessly and single-pointedly serving that mission was unending and ever unfolding. Now there was a foothold in Africa. Tomorrow he would fly to Bombay, where Krishna had already allowed him a foothold. And as Krishna desired, he would continue to travel and to send his devotees and his books and his message until he reached every town and village in the world. Hare Krishna. Okay, so that concludes volume 1, which has 36 chapters. So with that, we will move on to volume 2. We'll start with preface and introduction. After the disappearance of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from this mortal world on November 14, 1977, many of his disciples saw a need for an authorized biography of Srila Prabhupada. The responsibility of commissioning such a work rested with the governing body commission of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. At their annual meeting in 1978, the GBC resolved that a biography of Srila Prabhupada should be written and that I would be the author. According to the Vaishnava tradition, if one aspires to write transcendental literature, he must first take permission from his spiritual master and Krishna. A good example of this is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, the author of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's authorized biography, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. As Krishnadas Kaviraj Maharaj has explained, in Vrindavan, there were also many other great devotees, all of whom desired to hear the last pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. By their mercy, all these devotees ordered me to write of the last pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because of their order only, although I am shameless, I have attempted to write this Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Having received the order of the Vaishnavas, but being anxious within my heart, I went back to the temple of Sri Madan Mohan in Vrindavan to ask his permission also. So to say that Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is an authorized biography does not mean that it is a flattering portrait commissioned by an official body, but that it is an authorized literature presented by one who is serving the order of Krishna and Guru through the disciplic succession. As such, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is not written from the mundane or speculative viewpoint, nor can ordinary biographers comprehend the significance and meaning of the life of a pure devotee of God. Were such persons to objectively study the life of Srila Prabhupada, the esoteric meanings would evade them. Were they to charitably try to praise Srila Prabhupada, they would not know how. But because Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is authorized through the transcendental process, it can transparently present the careful reader with a true picture of Srila Prabhupada. Another important aspect of the authenticity of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is the vast amount of carefully researched information that I am able to focus into each volume. The leading devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement, in addition to giving me permission to render this work, have also invited the world community of ISKCON devotees to help me in gathering detailed information about the life and person of Srila Prabhupada. The Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Prabhupada's publishing house, has given me his collection of letters totaling over 7,000, and scores of Prabhupada's disciples have granted interviews and submitted diaries and memoirs of their association with Srila Prabhupada. Aside from his disciples, we have interviewed many persons in various walks of life who met Srila Prabhupada over the years. The result is that we have a rich, composite view of Srila Prabhupada, drawn from many persons who knew him in many different situations and stages of his life. The acknowledgement section in this book lists the persons who cooperated to bring about Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Despite the authorized nature of this book, and despite the support of many of my well-wishers, I must confess that in attempting to describe the glories of our spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, I am like a small bird trying to empty the ocean by carrying drops of water to the land. The picture I have given of Srila Prabhupada is only a glimpse into his unlimited mercy, and that glimpse has only been possible by the grace of Sri Guru and Sri Krishna. His Holiness Satsvarup Das Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Okay, and thank you to all these devotees that he acknowledges. So we offer our obeisances at the lotus feet of all the Vaishnavas who have to contribute to this immensely potent volume of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. Okay, we'll go to introduction. One day in June of 1977, Srila Prabhupada sat in his garden at the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan, India, conversing with a few devotees. Although for months he had been manifesting external symptoms of ill health, he still enjoyed sitting here with his disciples, while aromatic jasmine blossoms scented the air and the fountain gently splashed. He had been discussing various topics, including how modern godless civilization was a society of two-legged animals. Speaking of life in India, as he had known it as a child, he described a simpler way of living, and he began recalling some of his childhood experiences. At his birth, he said, an astrologer had predicted that at age 70 he would leave India and establish many temples. Prabhupada said he hadn't understood this prediction for many years, but that by Krishna's grace, he had gone to America at the age of 70 to execute the order of his spiritual master. In America, the result of this preaching had given him great hope, and he had obtained permanent residency there, expecting not to return to India. One of Srila Prabhupada's disciples present, Srila Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, spoke up. Do you regret having come back to India? No, Srila Prabhupada replied. My plan was to stay in America, but Krishna's plan was different. Therefore, when I was coming back, I was speaking to Dwarkadish, the Krishna deity in ISKCON's Los Angeles temple. I said to Dwarkadish, I came here to preach. I don't know why you are dragging me back. So I was unhappy to leave, but Krishna had his plan. Srila Prabhupada went on to say that by following Krishna's plan of leaving Vrindavan, Hare Krishna, is it audible?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can't hear you.
Is it audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So I was unhappy to leave, but Krishna had his plan. Srila Prabhupada went on to say that by following Krishna's plan of leaving Vrindavan and then, after preaching in America, coming back to Vrindavan, he had gained the most wonderful temple, the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan. You always come out victorious, Tamal Krishna said. I have never seen you defeated. In Bombay, for example, it seemed to be an impossible situation. Yes, no one was interested, said Srila Prabhupada. Who could see that such a big project would come up? Only you could see that, said Tamal Krishna Maharaj. You and Radha Rasbihari, the Krishna deity at ISKCON's Bombay temple. But still, I was determined. They should write a book about that, said Tamal Krishna. It is history, Srila Prabhupada added. That is worth writing about. Mayapur also. The first part of this volume of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit is an attempt to fulfill Prabhupada's desire that a book be written about the struggles undergone for establishing a wonderful temple for Krishna in Bombay, as well as in Mayapur and Vrindavan. It is a history worth writing about. This history is worth telling not only to Srila Prabhupada's intimate followers, but to the whole world. After all, it is for the benefit of people everywhere that Srila Prabhupada struggled against great obstacles to establish these three important ISKCON temples in Bombay, in Vrindavan, and in Mayapur. For Srila Prabhupada, temple meant not only a building, but a center of highest learning, an institution for teaching the science of God. He saw that people were mad after material progress, with little interest in understanding their spiritual identity. They identified themselves with the material body. Centers of spiritual learning and culture, therefore, were of prime importance in liberating people from their bodily identification. Srila Prabhupada's plan had been to transplant the seedling of India's spirituality in the West and then to return the healthy plant to its native soil, where the teachings of Lord Krishna had become confused by persons misrepresenting Vedic culture. In reawakening India's own culture, Srila Prabhupada wanted especially that there would be wonderful temples of Krishna consciousness, temples for everyone's benefit. This story is worth telling in that through it we learn of the mind and actions of a pure devotee of the Lord. We cannot expect to imitate such a great empowered devotee as Srila Prabhupada, but we can read about his activities in this volume, and that will inspire us and show us how, by persistence, hard work, and patience, we can become successful in our attempts to regain our forgotten Krishna consciousness and become pure devotees of the Lord. This history is worth writing about also because to hear of Srila Prabhupada's activities is naturally very relishable. Hearing about the activities of Lord Krishna's pure devotee is as relishable and purifying as hearing about Lord Krishna himself. Simply by reading and appreciating Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, we will purify our hearts and advance in spiritual enlightenment. Although the first part of this volume focuses primarily on Srila Prabhupada's establishing of 3 major temples in India, these chapters also describe his varied activities as the world traveling leader of his burgeoning International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Srila Prabhupada wanted the Krishna consciousness movement on every continent, in every city, in every town and village. So although Srila Prabhupada's establishing of his 3 main Indian centers provide a theme, the reader will also find Srila Prabhupada actively representing Lord Krishna and the disciplic succession in Los Angeles, Nairobi, New York, Melbourne, Paris, all over the world. The second part of this volume begins with a biographical synopsis spanning 1970 to 1975, highlighting 2 major activities of Srila Prabhupada, book production and book distribution. Meanwhile, however, Srila Prabhupada was active in many other ways, and specifically, he divided his time between America and India. In America, where Srila Prabhupada had the most disciples, the most temples, and the major front for his book distribution campaign, he toured and preached. Because his spiritual master had ordered him specifically to preach to the English-speaking world, he had begun his movement in America. He wrote in English and generally preferred to speak in English, even when in his own country before thousands of Indians. Srila Prabhupada's preaching throughout America, especially in these latter years, was mostly for the benefit of his disciples. He wanted to put the Krishna consciousness movement into their hands, now that his movement in the US had strength and maturity. This is your country, he would tell his disciples, and you know best how to preach here. But just to guide them and inspire them, he was lecturing, talking with reporters and university professors, purchasing properties, and simply being with his disciples as their leader, field commander, and worshipable master. In India, Srila Prabhupada continued managing ISKCON on a practical daily basis, without his scrutiny in all manner of political and practical affairs, from financial to legal, from cleaning to cooking, from receiving guests to hiring construction workers. Things would not be done properly. His disciples would be cheated, and ISKCON would not be appreciated as pure Vedic dharma. With great difficulty, he had begun his 3 major ISKCON centers in India, Bombay, Vrindavan, and Mayapur, and he had laid a foundation of bold, ambitious plans. But that would not be sufficient. ISKCON in India had not yet developed to the point where Prabhupada could say, as he had said to his disciples in America, now it is in your hands. Now it was in his hands, and to accomplish his goal, he assumed his feature of the exacting taskmaster, the relentlessly sharp-sighted temple manager. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's pause here. Yes. So again, so many things like Satsarupa Goswami Maharaj is teaching us the mood of humility. Again, as pure disciples of Srila Prabhupada, the mood of and the mission of their spiritual master, right? So this is what we see is the parampara as a humble, devoted servant of your guru. If you can imbibe their mood, imbibe the qualities of your spiritual master, of what they really desired, which is nothing but desiring to execute the orders of their spiritual master, right? So this parampara, this chain of disciplic succession has been going on for generations because of the sincerity and purity of disciples coming in the parampara. So again, we thank His Holiness Satsvarupa Das Goswami Maharaj and all the other wonderful Vaishnavas and disciples of Srila Prabhupada who have given us this nectar in the form of sharing these wonderful pastimes of Srila Prabhupada that he exchanged with each one of them. Each one is unique, just like each soul is unique and dear to the Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, each Vaishnava is unique and special to Lord Srila Prabhupada, or to Srila Prabhupada, for how he, even just with simple glance or with one word of affection, or just one action of distributing prasadam from his hand, giving those cookies, giving those apple slices that he used to do. Just one simple gesture that he did transformed the lives and hearts of all these disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and they all considered him as their own dear spiritual master, who had one-on-one reciprocation with each one of them. Right? So yeah, it's very hard to comprehend sometimes when we explain to materialistic people who want like time, focus, energy, from you. But in transcendental world, just one gesture, one sidelong glance, like we said of Srimati Radharani, one sidelong glance of our Guru Maharaj, is enough. It speaks in millions and millions of which millions and millions of books cannot convey. So that is the potency that comes through the mercy of Guru Parampara, through the mercy of Sri Radha Krishna. So yeah, it says that we have completed one volume of 36 chapters. We started on Ekadashi, we completed the volume on Dwadashi, and yeah, it's just wonderful. It's been very, hopefully it's been equally exciting and purifying for all of us who have been trying to read this nectar of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. So yeah, we'll continue to read tomorrow and see what Prabhupada does. Like here, it says this volume is more talking about now Prabhupada established the movement in America. Now he wants to give it back to India. And through this phase, we will see his focus on book printing and book distribution. So, okay, Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to share anything that you liked or loved from today's reading?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everyone. I was reflecting back on Radhashtami lecture by Premadas Prabhu, when he was mentioning a lot of our previous acharyas. It is very well known that they were incarnations of certain, like Ramanujacharya and Madhvacharya, but it was not very well known for Prabhupada. It is still not very well known that exactly whose incarnation he was. But from today's reading, starting with our reading today, it was mentioned by Maharaj that he was like a blessing incarnation of Nityananda Prabhu. Lord Chaitanya's Mahaprabhu's Senapati. So yeah, I was just reflecting back on that point, that how fortunate we are to come in this great lineage of Srila Prabhupada. And also we ended with perseverance, patience, determination, and hard work. Srila Prabhupada has done wonders. So yeah, I was just reflecting on those 2 points. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes. Yeah, that's why that word is very important when we say, and again, many of Prabhupada's disciples and our Shiksha Gurus, Diksha Gurus, of course, they emphasize that we should not miss that point. That's why when we create these flyers, we sometimes, out of our ignorance, we don't acknowledge what ISKCON stands for and who is Srila Prabhupada. But we have been corrected many times. So those are small things that we should take to our heart. But yeah, like you said, Premadas Prabhu mentioned about the founder Acharya, and yeah, founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. That's why even in the Prem Dhani prayers, we talk about, or we sing glories of our founder Acharya. And yeah, if you remember, when we were reading in the past, Prabhupada also corrected his disciples when they forgot or when they omitted ISKCON's title, or they omitted, or they wrote Prabhupada's name incorrectly as the founder Acharya, because all predecessor Acharyas are Acharyas, but he was the founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. So we should always remember that maybe that's the like you said, the Senapati, that's the designation given to him, bestowed to him by the mercy of his Guru Maharaj and mercy of Shri Nityananda Prabhu. So, so that is like, if we take away something that our Guru Maharaj has given us, then we are offending our Guru Maharaj. So whatever names, that's why it's always important that when devotees are initiated, we call them by their initiated name. That should be our humble attempt, not to call them with their legal names, and even use their full name as much as possible, because that is the mercy given to us by our Guru Parampara, and we should make sure that we completely respect and follow the guidelines. So thank you so much for bringing that point. Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody else would like to share anything? Adi Guru Prabhu is on the call, who is ISKCON Cincinnati co-host.
Yes, Prabhu, I am. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you for wonderful reading, Prabhu. It is good to get that 10,000 feet view of what is happening, the big vision that Srila Prabhupada had. And he knew that in America where the things were, and in India where the things were, and how he had to bring them to a speed where he could leave the movement in the hands of the devotee. That is something that is very, very important to understand, the vision that a teacher has. A teacher knows much more than. So I think we should always think about that when are commenting something about ourselves. We should take that as a blessing of our Guru Maharaj. Sometimes in false ego, we may ignore that, but that's not the right thing to do. So,
Thank you.
yeah, Prabhu, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. All these acharyas, all of them, Prabhupada and his disciples, wonderful disciples, are teaching us that same mode of, like you said, selfless dedication. Sometimes, we are dedicated, but that selflessness, sometimes I'm speaking for myself, it becomes, we miss that. So, but they are nicely teaching us again the mode of Srila Prabhupada. Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you to your Gurudev Prabhu. And today we read about Prabhupada talking about history has to be documented in Vrindavan, in Bombay, and in Mayapur, and all glories to His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj for giving us the book I'll Build You a Temple. This talks about the history of Shri Radha Ras Bihari in Bombay. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhu. By many devotees I have heard, I myself am so fallen, I have not read the book completely, but many devotees have said that it's actually a sequel to Leelamrit in the way that it talks about Srila Prabhupada more than anybody else. And even Gauranga Prabhu says that it is probably one of the best management books. So I know it is not there in the list of the books, but it's my desire maybe that we can take on reading that book sometime in this session.
Very well. Sure. Yes,
Let's see. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Krishna will
Thank
expand
you,
the time for us, and we will get to all those wonderful books. Yeah, our acharyas have taken so much, like Prabhupada was saying yesterday, there are 500 men and we have 50 years, what we cannot accomplish. So much has been accomplished, and there's so much for us to read and take inspiration from, so that we can also then contribute in our own little humble way to this movement in our time on this planet. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. All right, thank you, dear devotees. It's 6:40, so respecting time, we'll conclude here with Vaishnava Pranam prayers. Vansha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Have a great day, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.